Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today in our information session around our mass timber micro certificates. Very excited to have you join us, and thanks for your interest in our programs. So just as a point for those who have just joined, this session is being recorded and it will be posted afterwards. You may share it. Take another look at it if you have questions, etc. And we would also like to let you know that at the end of the session, we will have a question and answer period, and you may put your questions, answers in the chat box, or you may ask them. But we do have one of our instructors here today for one of the programs, but he does have to leave early. So I am going to give an opportunity to ask some quick questions to Ming Hao before he has to jump off today. So first of all, I would like to acknowledge that we have the privilege of living and working on the UBC Vancouver campus, which is situated within the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Musqueam people. My name is Dr. Sheri Andrews-Key. I am the director of our micro-certificate programming. I lead one of them in the area of climate vulnerability and adaptation. And I've had a lot of experience working as a professional within government and industry and NGOs, and have brought that experience along with my experience in a teaching degree to develop curriculum for practical applied upskilling of our workforce. So we're really excited about our micro-certificate programming. We have a suite of 18 and are still continuing to grow our programming. We cover many different relevant and needed skills and competencies throughout all of our programs. Please do visit our website to see more information there. Fabian, I'm sure will provide that information in the chat, but we also have it included in the presentation. And we have a lot more detailed information on each individual micro-certificate program on there. These programs are very flexible. We have designed them with the idea that professionals are looking for opportunities to upskill in these specific areas that we were offering training in, but that you need the flexibility because you can't necessarily uproot your family, move across the country or to a different country to take a master's program or additional training. And so we have kept that at the forefront of our minds as we've developed this curriculum and our modeling for these programs. We also have worked really hard to bring in top leads in the specific fields for our micro-certificate programming. And it's really exciting because it's about providing the theory that you need in these areas, but then how to actually apply this in reality and working with industry, other relevant organizations out there to offer these. We continually are updating these and looking to make sure that we're including the most relevant information and technology and examples that are out there. These programs, we offer them twice a year. We have a fall session that runs from October to December. And then we have a session that runs from February to April. Within that, our micro certificates either consist of 4 courses within one certificate or 3 courses. And these are offered either over a 2-week time period or a 3-week time period. Now you have flexibility within the time period that that specific course is offered to complete the requirements of these. And these are pass-fail, no grade is allocated because these are non-credit programming at this time. And you need to complete all of the assignments in order to pass them in order to be successful in each of the micro certificates. When you complete these successfully, you receive a digital badge. And in these digital badges, these can be used on your LinkedIn or other areas to show prospective employers or current employers or others what skills and competencies you have gained by taking our UBC Faculty of Forestry micro certificates. So I'm briefly going to talk about our mass timber micro certificates that we offer. We have a suite of them here, and we're continuing to grow these. We're very excited for these. And I'm actually going to, I'll go through these, and we're lucky to have Ming Hao here. So if you want more information on each individual one, again, please do go to the website, look at those. If you still have questions in that, feel free to connect with us on those. And if we can't answer them through the general office, we will forward them to the program leads and have them respond to you. So talking about engineered bamboo for sustainable construction, skills and competencies that you're going to gain through being successful in this micro certificate would be looking at developing an understanding of bamboo, my apologies, as a fast-growing plant and its social, economic, environmental importance out there. Look at how the material properties and their limitations compare with other products and the applications of those. Also, develop a fundamental understanding and manufacturing process of engineered bamboo products and what the implications are for code compliance here. Also look at how we can characterize and compare product properties of engineered bamboo with other wood products for building applications out there. And then also looking at bamboo structure for lateral and vertical loading in buildings, including critical connector systems, along with something that we're all concerned about is the carbon sequestration of bamboo cultivation. We also, in that same vein with the carbon storage, look at how this is stored in engineered bamboo products and also identify carbon savings and opportunities in using bamboo-based projects for products for building projects. And then wrapping up with understanding the application and procedure for current environmental product declarations for different bamboo products under ISO 1405. So this is a really exciting new space, and I encourage you to look at the website for more detail. Our next micro certificate that I'm going to talk about for skills and competencies is fire safety for timber buildings. In this program, you will better understand the need, the origin, and the development of how fire safety regulations are implemented and the requirements and their explicit link to timber as an urban construction material. Also, how to articulate the core principles of a fire safety strategy for residential and commercial buildings. We know that this is a huge issue, one that's really important. Also being able to distinguish between different testing regimes and their role in fire safety of timber products in buildings and within fire safety strategies. And then looking at how to identify basic theoretical concepts of fire science and how this applies to fire test results for wood, and then utilizing codified guidance to calculate fire resistance of timber structural products, and also the limits that are on these applications, looking at the calculations. Moving into looking at hybrid timber construction and the skills and competencies around that. My apologies, we jumped ahead here. We're looking at engineered wood products from material behavior to hybrid timber construction. Also looking at the meaning of hybrid structures as a way for aesthetic and structural efficiency, augmentation of hybrid buildings, including off-site fabrication, how we're going to put this together and build for faster building times. How to include hybrid structural elements and systems in the design that you're doing, and referring to timber steel, timber concrete, and timber steel concrete combinations out there. Also looking at how do you actually account for element fabrication and prefabrication aspects to provide the design with an effective framework for looking at connections and connection technology for inducing enhanced performance to structural systems. Also looking at the structural analysis that you may have to perform and structural assembly, detailing of hybrid multi-story buildings with particular reference to seismic actions. This is a huge issue out there in a lot of places across the globe as we develop these structures, and design of timber-based composite components for long span applications, including hybrid trusses, floors, and bridges. Moving into tall wood structures, and we're fortunate to have Ming Hao, who's the lead here. These are skills and competencies. Ming Hao, I'll let you speak to this.
Okay, so Sheri, yeah, my apology. I didn't put the whole list for the entire 4 courses in terms of the learning outcome. But for the individual course, I did provide the learning outcomes, skills and competencies. So though this particular micro certificate is focused on tall wood building design, and it really covers the high capacity connections, high capacity engineered wood products that are currently used to construct the tall wood systems. And also this course will use a lot of good examples of tall wood buildings all around the world to showcase how wood can be effectively used to build taller and larger construction systems. So we were going to cover also gravity load system design, including the floor systems design for large span large span floors. And also we cover the lateral loading design to resist the earthquake loads and wind load, etc. So looking at current design practice, how people are designing those systems to resist lateral load. And the last part of the micro certificate is to look at the modeling and analytical tools available to assist engineers to do the proper structure analysis and how we're gonna design safe and reliable systems to carry gravity and lateral load. So it's gonna be a fun course, and also mainly focus on current design and construction practice.
Thanks, Ming Hao. I really appreciate that. More detailed explanation, much more information than I can provide, as you're the best one as the lead. Also, one of the questions that I had for all the programs was about software and software usage. Would you like to address that for your
for this particular, we know engineers are, different consulting firms might use different software for structural analysis of any timber buildings. But in this course, we are not going to focus on really using any specific software or program to do the analysis. We are covering fundamentals and basic knowledge that is related to wood building design.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Is there anyone that we have joining us today that would like to ask Ming Hao any specific questions for this course? I will see if we've got anything in the chat here. Fabian, do you have anything that's listed in the chat that Minghao may need to address before he has to jump off here?
Yeah, I mean, more information can be found from our website. So I'm gonna provide some extra information for this micro certificate on tall wood structures. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, that's excellent. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking the time to join us today. And then if there are any other questions that come in afterwards, we can forward these to Minghao and have him connect with you directly.
Okay, thank you, Sheri. Sorry, I have to leave earlier. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, thank you for that. And we're going to move forward now with looking at our next program. So looking at zero carbon building solutions. Skills and competencies in this program really look at the embodied carbon emissions from the manufacturing, transport, installation, use, and end-of-life building materials. So following that chain through the process, which are, key things that feed into so many different parts of our requirements these days in accounting for carbon, and looking at how we can create these building solutions to decrease that carbon footprint. Also, you'd be looking at how carbon emissions contributes during the building operations and how to actually reduce this through energy use and the release of refrigerants during regular building operations. Looking at negative carbon emission strategies that could be useful to further offset building carbon emissions outside of the value chain or the life cycle of a building. And then looking at the most appropriate solutions to achieve zero low carbon building designs from their professional background based on the knowledge learned. So this is something too that can feed into sustainability, can feed into meeting requirements around decreasing carbon footprints and things. And, with this, if you want more information, again, as with all the programs, please do visit our website. There's a lot of really good detailed information on there. So looking at our general program information, the current round of application or registration time period will close October 1st. Now, currently, our registration is not open as we're waiting for those residents from BC who can apply. The British Columbia government is going to offer some funding for future skills grants. And this is to help upskill the British Columbia workforce. And they cover portions of tuition. And our programs do fit under that application. However, we need to wait on final word from the government as to what that allocation for funding is going to look like before we can open our registrations for the fall session. But not to worry, we do have wait lists for all of our programs on there. And if you are interested in attending for the fall session, please do go on the website and join the wait list. You can find that tab on there. Looking at costs for our program. So the entire program costs $2,400 Canadian. That includes, there's no other additional fees on top of that. There's no application or registration fee. There are no taxes added to that. If you are registering from another country, you pay $2,400 Canadian. That is what our fees are. No hidden costs or anything else associated with that. As we mentioned earlier, this is completely online. It's very flexible programming. So it's all asynchronous, which means you can do it within the time period of each program according to your schedule. Now, we do have what we call the coffee hour, and every program has these. They're once a week, they're a scheduled time, and they're not mandatory for most of our courses because we understand that not everybody is on the same time zone or, in the same schedule. So we do record them. They are posted following the coffee hour session. But if you've got time and are able to build it into your schedule, it is a wonderful opportunity, first of all, to be able to connect in this sort of in-person online environment with the program leads. At the coffee hours, a lot of the program leads bring in other practitioners in the field to talk about examples and applications. And we often have these guest speakers and have really interesting discussions. It's also a place that if you have some questions about course content or assignments or things, you can ask them here as well. As we mentioned earlier too, if you have questions, you can always contact us directly at forestry.microcert@ubc.ca. And then we also have the Forestry UBC programs and certificates site, where each one of our individual programs on there, it gives you much more detail about the program leads. We have testimonials on there, and looking at the course schedule, upcoming course schedule, so you can see better when the timing is, if it can fit within your workload and your schedule. It's all on there. And again, please do feel free to reach out to us if you have any additional questions. And now I want to open things up to have a question and answer period. We'll answer to the best of our ability. If it's something that's very detailed that only our program leads can answer, we will record that and follow up with the program leads on that specific question. So I am going to stop sharing my screen now and open things up. So you're welcome to put them either in the chat or just answer them. Or ask them, my apologies. I'm supposed to be the one answering them.
Hello,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Is this
Hello,
Amir?
everybody. Good time. Thank you for your excellent and comprehensive presentation. I got more interested in enrolling in this course. I just want to ask if there is any financial supports for participants from developing countries, and how can we apply for them? And another question is that can we enroll for only one program, such as hybrid structures, only for hybrid structures, or we have to register for the whole program?
Great questions, Amir. Thank you very much. So for your first question, for funding for outside of British Columbia and other organizations, currently we don't have a funding source that's available for the micro certificate programming due to the nature of it being non-credit programming. Residents of British Columbia do have some access to funding through the Future Skills Grant, but that doesn't extend anywhere outside of British Columbia currently. But this is something that we're continuing to explore and look into opportunities for us to be able to partner and collaborate with organizations. So if you want to follow up, if with an email directly to our to the micro certificate web information line. I can follow up with you as this continues to develop, and we can see what potential opportunities are there as we go into the future. But currently, there are no existing opportunities for additional funding. Looking at your next question, so if I'm understanding correctly, within one micro certificate, you're asking if you can only take one course. That is dependent on the specific micro certificate itself. So some of our micro certificate programs, they are built on prerequisites. So the prerequisites would be that you have to take the courses in sequential order to build on one another. So if it was the first course in that specific one and you had to take them in a sequential order and you only wanted the first course, then you could just register for that first course. You also have an opportunity that you can have up to 2 years from when you first register for one of the courses to complete an entire micro certificate. So for example, if you registered for one of the micro certificates this fall, and you just registered for one individual course, say in tall wood structures, then you would take the first course this fall, and you would have up to 2 years from October to take the remainder of the courses to be successful in an entire micro certificate. Now, if you choose not to complete those and you want to just complete, say, the first course, then you would receive a digital badge just for that first course. If it's a micro certificate that you only want, say, the second or third course in, but you are supposed to take them in sequential order, there is nothing that we can do there. That is set by our program leads for a reason, because you need to complete those other courses beforehand to have enough knowledge to do that additional course. So hopefully does that answer your question well enough?
Yeah, I got the answer. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And how much the application fee for each micro certificate?
So for an entire micro certificate, the application fee is $2,400.
For each chapter, you mean? For example,
No, that's the whole price for all four courses. So if you are taking one of the micro certificates that has 4 courses in it, that would be believe it's I don't often have this question, but I believe it would be $650 per course.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions that we have around the micro certificates? And also we have that breakdown for individual courses versus our entire program on the website as well. Yes, Victor.
Yes. Hi, thank you for your presentation. My name is Victor. I'm an architect based in BC. I was wondering, what is the workload, the time for each certificate?
Great question. Yes, so it depends on the student, but in general, the average time that it takes for each course, so each individual course within the micro certificate. So if you're doing a micro certificate that has 4 courses within it, it's approximately 15 hours of your time for all, like, completing the readings, the lectures, the assignments. For
That's
each 2-week micro
Mhm.
certificate course. So in total, if there's 4 courses, that would be approximately 60 hours of your time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Appreciate the question. Thank you.
Another question for you then. In your experience, does a lot of students or register for multiple micro certificate program, or you recommend to focus on one at a time? Two different
In
questions.
my experience, since we've been running the program since 2021, I have not had any students that have done more than one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it all really depends on your schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have the time within your schedule and the flexibility, and you feel that you could, you know, take on more than one, you are very welcome to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. No problem. Any other questions today? So just to give you an idea as well, the type of people that take the micro certificate programs, it really varies actually. It varies from, we have some even undergraduate students that have taken these programs, all the way to people who are retired or, you know, near the end of their career or finishing off their career potentially with a company and then deciding to go into doing their own consulting. Near the end of their careers, we have a lot of mid-level professionals that, you know, are halfway through their careers. So it really varies. And it's very flexible and open for anyone who is interested in taking this. So with that, if there are no more questions, then I would first of all like to thank you for taking your time to join us today and for your interest in our UBC Faculty of Forestry Micro Certificate Program. Please keep an eye out because we're continuing to expand and grow. It's a very exciting time for us and space. And we're here for you if you have any questions. And we hope to see you in our future offerings. And with that, I will close our session today and thank you for attending.